The Invictus Foundation recently provided a comprehensive breakdown of Meghan's wardrobe during the Invictus Games, detailing its cost. However, the event sponsors declined to cover these expenses. Meghan Markle's attire over the 6 days at the Invictus Games showcased a blend of both affordable high-street fashion and luxurious high-end pieces, with a total value nearing £300,000. Known for her affinity for designer brands, opulent accessories, and exquisite jewelry worth thousands of pounds, Meghan incorporated several premium labels such as Givenchy, Chanel, and Hermes into her attire. In addition to her high-end choices, Meghan also embraced a more down-to-earth approach to fashion, a departure from the typical royal extravagance. She incorporated pieces from high-street retailers like Zara, Banana Republic, and J.Crew, as well as mid-range designers such as Ralph Lauren and Totem. Nevertheless, the bulk of Meghan's expenses were attributed to her jewelry collection, which featured notable items like Princess Diana's £17,800 Cartier watch, a £50,000 Lorraine Schwartz pinky ring adorned with diamonds from the Middle East, and a £2,260 tennis pinky ring from Chiffon & Co. To summarize, Meghan donned a total of 12 outfits over the 5-day period, with each item's cost counted only once, resulting in a grand total of £25,118. It's important to note that Meghan aimed to connect with the public by incorporating lower-cost brands into her wardrobe. Additionally, she rotated between 3 different pairs of sunglasses and carried 3 distinct handbags during this charitable work trip. On Friday alone, Meghan sported an ensemble and jewelry worth nearly £250,000. Meghan's wardrobe, valued at thousands of pounds, didn't appear to suffice, prompting her to add a £400 Bottega Veneta chain hoop earrings and a £1,000 Leo Zodiac diamond pendant from Brilliant Earth to her collection. The sheer volume of outfits worn by Meghan during the Invictus Games is too extensive to list comprehensively, leading to considerable headaches for the Invictus Foundation when handling the associated bills. In the past, Prince Charles used to cover Meghan's clothing expenses when she was a working royal, providing a budget from the Duchy of Cornwall. However, her current approach involves seeking financial support from the Invictus Foundation for her attire. Unfortunately, sponsors, including Boeing, Amazon, the Invictus Fund, and others, declined to fund clothing bills unrelated to veterans, emphasizing their commitment to supporting athlete veterans participating in the Games. According to the Mirror newspaper, Meghan's wardrobe for the Invictus Games exceeded £300,000 in value. Some notable items in her collection included a £961 Rares detached shawl from Hermes, a £2,122 Giard St. Louis PM tote bag, a £20,824 Cartier yellow gold tank Française watch, and her £140,000 Welsh gold wedding band. Meghan's fashion choices vary each day. On Tuesday, September 12th, she donned an outfit that totaled £9,825, which included a Channel-inspired shorts and blazer set. On Wednesday, September 13th, she sported 3 different outfits with a combined cost of £6,837, demonstrating a more low-key style. Meghan's frequent outfit changes raise questions about her intentions. Some speculated that her multiple wardrobe changes were aimed at garnering media attention, potentially boosting sales for brands she wore, and ultimately securing Instagram sponsorships. Critics questioned whether this was the extent of her influence and contribution, even doubting the viability of such sponsorships on Instagram. During his closing speech at the Invictus Games, Harry took the opportunity to express his disappointment with Charles for removing his military role and uniform, sparking some controversy. In his closing remarks about uniforms, he conveyed his message but also appeared to come across as harboring bitterness and resentment, which led some to view him as holding a grudge against the royal family's protocols. At Queen Elizabeth II's funeral last year and King Charles II's coronation in May, Prince Harry seemingly alluded to the royal family's decision not to allow him to wear his military uniform. During the closing ceremony of the 6th annual Invictus Games in Dusseldorf, Germany, he made these remarks, as reported by Deadline. "A week ago, I stood here and spoke about the significance of proudly representing one's nation. Many of you shared with me how deeply that resonated with you. For some, the uniforms you've worn this past week have added a new chapter to your story, while for others, they may have brought fresh significance to your previous service." However, Harry went on to emphasize that despite the importance of uniforms, they should not define a person's worth or self-esteem. He stated, "But let me remind you that beyond all this, you need not lean on a uniform, nor should you ever feel adrift without one, because within each of you lies everything you require. You should never have to rely solely on a uniform." Nevertheless, his delivery of this message was perceived by some as petty, dismissive, and condescending. Harry's evident distress over losing his military uniform appears to have led him to downplay its significance for those who have genuinely served their country. He seems to be making an effort to lessen the importance of uniforms for those who have not merely engaged in leisurely activities, such as playing Xbox in a protected environment, but have truly dedicated themselves to their service. However, it's worth noting that his own reaction to not being allowed to wear a uniform during services for his grandmother raises questions. Some may view it as an attempt to console himself for the loss of his honorary military titles. There have been claims suggesting that Harry may have requested King Charles to reinstate these titles after Queen Elizabeth's passing, only to be declined. Nevertheless, this decision doesn't equate to a hateful move. It appears to be a standard business decision, given that Harry is no longer a working member of the royal family and does not represent them, especially as he resides outside the UK. Harry's recent statement appears to lack sensitivity to the experiences of most veterans. Many veterans keep their uniforms, either in part or in whole, as a reminder of their time in service. Those who don't often harbor negative sentiments about their service. It's crucial to remember that service is primarily about serving others, a point that Harry seems to have overlooked. Furthermore, Harry's behavior seems to mirror that of his controversial wife, as he frequently responds to various situations with confrontational remarks rather than addressing the topic at hand. In this instance, he appears to be talking about himself and criticizing his critics, all while discussing uniforms and the judgment of others. During his closing speech at the Invictus Games, Harry took the opportunity to express his disappointment with Charles for removing his military role and uniform, sparking some controversy. In his closing remarks about uniforms, he conveyed his message but also appeared to come across as harboring bitterness and resentment, which